Okay, now, so continuing with our study of learning how to learn the notes across the neck. Just as a review, on this sixth string, we have the word Gabe spelled out on the 3rd fret, 5th, 7th, and 12th. Okay, that's G, A, B, and E. And from there, we need to be able to figure out all of our other notes. We have those 4 notes that kind of give us a good grounding. So remember, if I want a B flat, what a flat does to a note is it lowers it 1/2 step in pitch. So that would be 1 fret on the guitar lower in pitch. And we all know if we go in this direction on the same string, it gets lower. So we have this note B down 1/2 step. That's B flat. This is a G. If I want to sharp the G and make it a G sharp, I'd go up 1 fret. And if I want B and I want a C from it, I remember that there's 2 sets of notes that have a 1/2 step in between them, and all the natural notes in music, A, B, C, D, F, G. It's going to be between B and C and E and F. So I have a B right here and I want a C from it, figure out a C from it, and I know it's a 1/2 step higher in pitch, so I move up 1 fret. How do I get a C sharp? Move a note up from that. After C sharp, we're going to have a D, but you would know that from the E, right? Because E is a whole step below in pitch from E. 2 frets down. The whole step is 2 frets. All right? So how do we take this knowledge and move it to other strings? Figure out other strings. Well, first of all, both of the lowest pitch string and the highest pitch string, they're both E strings. So obviously, if this note's a G, so is the one on the top string. So those, if you know the notes on the 6th string, you automatically know them on the 1st. They're just 2 octaves higher in pitch, but they're the same note. So what we're going to do here is take this note on the 6th string, and the first way we're going to try to learn and figure out the note is to we're going to try to figure out the notes on the 4th string. And we're going to do it by knowing the notes on the 6th string and doing what is called an octave shape. Now, an octave is basically both notes are called the same thing. Just one, if you play a scale and go, okay, so that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, right here it starts over, and here it starts again. So basically, it's the same 7 notes repeated, just going through different registers. So this is an A, and that's an A. How you get an octave is your finger has to be, you have to go 2 frets up. So here's the 5th fret. You go up to the 6th, then the 7th, and then skip a string. So we're on the 6th string here. We're going to skip the 5th, and we're going to play the 4th string. And whatever note that is right there, it's going to be an octave of this note. So if this is an A, then that's an A. So how you do that on the 4th string is I would just look at the notes on the 4th string, and you'll see here, go, okay, what note is this? You test yourself. I get the fret note of the 9th fret. Well, how do I know what that name of that note is? Well, go down to the 6th string and back up 2 frets. And you'll be able to, by knowing Gabe, you can see that's G, A, B. That's a B. All right? It may seem like this is a slow method of doing it, but really any method is slow in figuring out your fretboard like this. It comes from, you need to be able to just stick with it and consistently try to figure out the notes. Like I said, one day just try to figure out all Fs all over the fretboard. And the next day, you know, whatever, another pitch. And then this familiarity will start to sink in. You just want to, you need to keep the curiosity alive about when you're learning a chord or notes or a little solo in a song. What are you playing? If you ask yourself that and you figure it out, you'll learn something. So that's how you'd figure out the notes. We have the 6th string and the 1st string, and then the 4th string. All right. Now, just in case, if you're wondering about this octave thing, if you see this first fret dot, that's a G. Remember we talked about the double dots, the guitar basically starts over. So this is an E, then if you play that double dots, that's an E as well, one octave higher on the same string. So you can see this is a 12th fret where the double dots are at. So that tells us that any note that you play on a string, if you go 12 frets higher than that, you'll find the same note up here. And the fret markers will look the same as well. So here's the 3rd fret, right? If I go 12, well, what's 12 plus 3? 15. Move it up to the 15th fret. Well, look at that. We have a dot there as well. 3 frets after the double dots. So this dot that's 5 on the 5th fret is also 5 frets up from the double dot. And it's an octave higher than that note. So they're the same notes. So basically this portion of the neck is just a little version of this. Okay, so if you know how to spell notes here, you know how to spell them here. All right, so just take everything, get used to that. Take everything up an octave and test yourself up here. All right, notes on the 5th string. You probably know this simple tuning method, which if you don't, I'm getting ready to put it on the site, that when you have a string that's in tune, say this 6th string was in tune, right? I had a nice E. So if you wanted to tune you can tune the 5th string by tuning it to the 6th string. You can do it basically like this. When you have a note, place your finger on the 5th fret on the 6th string, and it should match the open string of the 5th. Place your 5th fret on the 6th string here, and that note matches the open string of the 5th string. If your guitar is in tune, at least. So you basically can see that if I have anything note I know here, if I subtract, say I'm on this note right here, I'm on this D, and I want to figure out what that note is on the 5th string, all I have to do is go over to the 5th string and subtract 5 from that place. So I know I'm at the 10th fret here. Come over here and move down 5 frets from 10 to 5. And you see you have the same note. All right? So the way that you're probably going to do this in playing is you're going to be on the 5th string first, and you're going to go, all right, what note is that? I'm at the 3rd fret here on the 5th string. Well, you'll have to reverse it. If you only know your notes on the 6th string, you have to go, okay, for me to figure out this note, I have to go over to the 6th string, go up, and then go up 5 frets. And you'll probably just try to visualize it, just see it, see where it is. Like, here's a C. Find where that note is on the 6th string by coming over to the string and then going up 5 frets and pointing to that note. And then you should know the name of that note already from using Gabe, and you've got that one figured out. Then from there, you do the same octave thing. After you know your notes on your 5th string, do the same thing, octave thing, to figure out the notes on the 3rd. So this is a C, up 2 frets and skip a string. That's a C an octave higher. This is a D, this is a D. E and E. All right? So these are simple tiny methods. That's actually going to cover, that's 5 of the 6 strings. We're not looking at this B string yet. We're not going to have a thorough knowledge of the neck that quickly anyway. So the reason why I'm not really doing that one too much, if you want to try it a little bit, you could still use an octave shape here, knowing your notes on the 4th string. The octave shape, though, is still skip a string, just skip 1 string. But instead of being 2 frets up, it's 3 frets up. The reason that is because the tuning between all the strings on the guitar, it's a perfect 4th all the way across, except for between the 2nd and 3rd string, where it's a major 3rd. All right, so we have a little bit different octave shape, but this is a G on the 4th string that you can figure out, because over here on the 6th, and then after you know it, boom. I wouldn't recommend learning all these strings at once. Learn your 6th string first, then work on learning your 4th string by knowing the notes on the 5th string. After you know those, learn your notes on your 5th string by knowing the notes on the 6th string, and then try to learn the notes on the 3rd string by knowing the notes on the 5th string, and then learn the notes on the 2nd string by knowing the notes on the 4th. And you'll have your guitar. It's a slow process, but if you stick with it, it'll come pretty quick. All right? So please comment and go to guitarlessons365.com and support the site so I can keep doing this. All right? I appreciate it. Bye-bye.